today's young generation they don't just want a 9 to 5 job and a salary. They want to feel like they're making a difference in the world. They want to add some kind of social value. They want to feel like they're having an impact. And for me, there's no other industry in the world where you can have a bigger impact than construction. If you want to steer the future of society, come into construction. If you want to shape the schools that young kids are getting their start in life in, come into construction. If you want to have an outsized impact on climate change, come into construction and help us build more sustainable buildings. This is the industry where you can shape the future and make stuff happen, and where you can stand back at the end of the day and say to yourself, I built that. Say to your friends and family, I built that, and feel proud of it. And there's over 150,000 people now in schools and colleges around the world that have decided to come into construction as a direct result of being involved or watching our content, which is fantastic.
150,000, like directly correlated to like watch B1M content. And then they were like, hey, I really love this industry. I want to be involved. Like, dude, you've made a bigger impact when it comes to labor shortage than like 99.999% of the people out there trying to make an impact.
We have this amazing story. We have an incredibly visual industry that's out there. That's all around us. We have these incredible feats of engineering and construction happening all the time. We have an amazing story to tell. We just need to actually tell it. I think that's where my passion for it comes from. That's where the passion and the vision for the B1M came from, was about taking these stories, taking this amazing industry and shining a light on what it's doing. The story's there. We just need to tell it. And as I said, in terms of young people today, there is a really receptive audience there right now. There's an audience that's willing to hear the story and want to see an industry where they can make a difference.
A lot of times people talk about going to we'll say like a trade show or to like a school function to try to get kids interested in the trades, right? Or interested in coming into the construction industry as a whole, right? And one of the most overlooked things out there is content, like what you're producing.
I see the numbers, I see the statistics, but when you actually have those real conversations face to face is when, for me, it really hits home. And you sort of, that feeling of, yes, it's been hard to build this company, but that's what made it all worth it, But to your point, I think, if you think about your kids, think about young people today, they're not going to be excited or really intrigued by something that their parents drag them to in a school hall somewhere. It's stuff they see on Instagram, TikTok, social media that's cool and exciting. That's what they want to do in life. So I think rather than expecting people to opt into the industry, to come and read our magazines or come to our trade shows and career fairs, we need to reach out to them, go to them where they are with engaging content in a format that they're used to consuming. That to me is an obvious thing to do. And it's just about packaging the industry up in a way that is consumable, engaging, and breaks it down for people. Often we have engineering magazines that are written for engineers, architectural magazines that are written for architects, and they do a good job. They serve their audiences, but they don't make the industry very accessible. So putting our story and our impact in a boiled down, distilled down, compelling way, I think is so important.
I feel like this is just one of those areas people say, where's the ROI? Where's the ROI on producing content like this? And I'm sure you heard that a lot early on, right?
Yeah, and you could easily say, well, let's just take it all away and not bother with it. But I think there would be a big hole there. At the end of the day, if we don't tell our story as an industry, other people are going to tell it for us. Often construction projects will only be on the news if they're late or over budget or something's gone really badly wrong. So in this age of information, if we don't step up and tell our own story and tell our own narrative, it's going to be written for us by other people. And, the things that are unfolding in the construction industry every day, the cities that are being shaped, the project decisions that are being made, the skyscrapers that are being put up or taken down, the railway bridges that are being built or not built, all of that is impacting and shaping the lives of millions, if not billions of people around this planet every day. That's a fact. Now, we can choose to shine a light on those stories, lift them up and try to understand them better and engage the best people we possibly can in this industry so we can build a better world for our children and our children's children, or we can just ignore it and carry on as we are. So obviously I'm biased on this, but I think construction content is pretty damn important. Not just so we can understand the built world, but so we can build a better world in the future. And I don't think we can just put our feet up and say, this isn't for us. We're not going to do content in the industry. There's no ROI on it, because other people are going to write a narrative for us if we don't write it ourselves.
What kind of advice do you have to the construction industry at large to try to maybe join you in the mission?
Well, I think there's a few fronts here. So on the content side, I think the industry has amazing content, right? We're doing amazing things every day. What never ceases to amaze me, and it's astonishing as I've gone through this journey, is how bad people can be at conveying their story and telling the world what they're doing. You know, I've bumped into people who are building amazing feats of engineering. They're pulling off some ridiculously complex construction sites, but they've got no idea how to present it or convey it or to craft a story. So I think really looking at storytelling, thinking about what engages people, and thinking more intelligently about how we package up and describe the work we do, whether that is you as a board director trying to get people behind your vision, whether you're an HR leader, a resources manager, whether you're trying to recruit young people into the industry, whether you're dealing with stakeholders in the community. All of that, the way we talk about our industry, really, really matters. So the advice I would say is take the industry stories and put them in a way that you would use to describe to your friends and family outside of work. If you were to go to a bar after work and explain something cool you did today, what language would you use? What terminology would you use? And try and bring that into the way you present the work you're doing as a sector. So I think that's the first thing that's really important. Secondly, I would say we need to be better at reaching out beyond our own borders. So talking to industry groups about the industry is great. What we need to do is think, how do we reach people who are currently not affected by or interested in construction? That's the bit about going beyond for me.